Yes, grand day, gems and jewels. Welcome, welcome. Wow, what a wonderful day to be alive, honey. At this, sometimes just showing up, just showing up, just showing up. Good, just good. Grand day, gems and jewels, gods and goddesses. I'm your host, Corinthia, and this is Power in My Pivot. Power in My Pivot is a live broadcast where we discuss how ordinary people, such as you and me, become extraordinary and are right as human beings through the power of pivoting, of turning, changing, and moving our lives from the prescribed reality into the reality that we want to create for ourselves. This show is for men and women, kings and queens, dukes and duchesses, and just everyday people. The time has come for us to create our own narrative and control our narrative and remember who we really are and to set the stage by example. On today's edition of Power in My Pivot, we will have a discussion with King Mullah, who grew up in Mauritania and in Senegal, West Africa, and how he's manifested, how he's pivoted through his life from coming from the motherland to the man-made lands of the United States of America. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. So, Power in My Pivot is a discussion where we unpack details of our pivot, of our transformation, whether that's voluntarily, circumstantially, or by sheer survival. Let's talk. It's a talk of our soul's journey, our evolution as people, honey. We have to pivot in order to get from A to B sometimes. So, welcome all to the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Remember, this is an interparticipatory dialogue, so feel free to drop comments in the chat and let's have a conversation. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the Corinthia People's YouTube channel, where we'll bring Power in My Pivot to you often, every week. I say that with needing guidance. So, welcome to the room. Our special guest today is King Mullah, who is a returning guest. You know, I had to have him come back because his life is so compelling. It's so melodic that I invited him to join us again to share in the discussion of manifestation, right? I want him to actually share with us. He's agreed, I should say, to share with us how he's manifested in his life, right? How he's taken his life from one point to another point to another point. Manifestation is very important. So this is the topic today, manifestation, because we all are manifesting, whether we know it or not, consciously or unconsciously. We are manifesting our lives. Mullah, our guest, is from Mauritania, which was part of the old Malian Empire. He's part Mauritanian, Malian, and Senegalese. He migrated from New York, from West Africa to New York in 2001, where he became a sound engineer and founded his label, Kingdom Inc. Records. He has love and desire for community, Feeding the people is good for his soul. Opening his lovely home to friends in need and just lending a helping hand is his brotherly duties. Mullah's mission is to touch people however he can, whether via music, food, literally, he cooks, or art for a moment, a period, or a lifetime. His work in his life is to be an example of the impossible. I'm going to say that again. His work in his life is to be an example of the impossible. So, our guest, King Mullah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me back again. Hi, Miss Corinthia. As always, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. I'm so glad you came back to join, especially on such a notice.
Absolutely, not a problem. Anytime, anytime.
But that was divine order. Like, it was just so divine. It was so divine. The moon was in the sky and spirit was just sync, connect.
Correct. Yes, it's so befitting to the subject matter because that's an example of manifestation. You manifested this show yesterday, and sometimes I don't mean to jump right into the subject, but we manifest every day, whether we're aware of it or not. So now the power of manifestation is when you are actually aware of it and you know how it works, or you realize, or you have some type of understanding of how it works. I don't think anyone knows how it works because we watch so many videos, so many clips on YouTube about manifestations, and you sit there and watch a whole 30-minute video, and they don't really tell you what the formula is. How do you actually do it?
Right.
Everybody keeps telling you have to have a clear image of it in your head and this and that. It's just like so many general statements that I got frustrated. It's like I have an image of $1 million in my bank account right now in my head, and it's clear as day, but it's not making it manifest. So they're not really giving us. They're giving us some of the information, but they're not telling us how to put it together. It's like the pieces are there, but we have to figure out how to put it together. And it's a journey, just like how your life. It's a journey. Your soul goes through steps, and even your soul goes through pivots. This in my faith, this is my third life, and every time I have to enter a life, a pivot have to happen. A big
wait, stop. You're blowing away already. This is your third life?
Yes, and I have 6. I'm looking forward to my other 3 lives coming. And he explains it to me. He tells me what. It's a long conversation, but we can talk about that. And everything, I feel like everything we do in the body form, really has a mirror in the soul form. If we really study our souls and the journeys that our souls been through, if we could only remember, it would have been clear as day. But because we can't remember, so we have to have a relationship with our soul. This is where spirituality is important. It don't matter what you practice. Have a relationship with your soul through meditation, through prayers, through whatever. The reason why these are the things I mentioned every time we say soul, we mention meditation, prayer, and things, because the soul is not a physical thing, so you cannot feed it with a physical thing. It has to be fed with something unphysical. Love. Like you can feed your soul with love. I feel like some people actually feed their soul with hate. They don't like themselves, or they don't like the situation they're in, or their relationship, or whatever, and their soul takes a ton of it. But because we don't see it, we're completely oblivious to it. And now manifestation, right? I'm gonna tell you about my story, how I manifested, how I got from Africa to America.
Wait, well, hold on. You just going in. I love it. You just on fire, and you don't even have a birthday. I love it. I love it. Okay, wait. Okay, so let me just preference this.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard you a couple of weeks ago. You told your daughter, Aisha, that you had manifested the lovely home that you guys live in before she was born.
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
and it all came through because, like you said, we're always manifesting, whether we know it or not. But sometimes we really know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're clear about what we're doing, and we hone that thing and we go in for it.
Mhm.
Sometimes all the details,
Mhm.
we can't figure out all the details a lot of time, right?
Mhm.
But we
Yeah.
can manifest the thing. So yes, please share with us the story of your manifestation of coming, of the house coming to America. Because
And then
how old were you when you came to America?
I was 23 years old. I'm 42. I'll be 43. So it's gonna be a whole 20 years since I've been here. Both of my kids were born here. I was married twice here. I learned English, the culture here. So I feel like I'm right in the middle. I understand both cultures very well. I lived both cultures so wholeheartedly. So
Yeah, you love both
when
cultures partly. You do. And I want to say this, that the cool part about you, and I've been to Africa twice. I have lots of African friends, and but the difference about you, Mula, is that you wholeheartedly take on the black, being black. So you understand. That's why you're my friend. You understand being African in Africa, and you also have engaged in being black in America, and have black American friends, which
yeah.
is not a lot. It's not very common with
Mhm. Yeah.
Native African men to have black American men friends, which you do. I mean, like homies,
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
homies. So
It's
yeah,
not a
yeah,
Yes, that part is not an easy journey because when we come here from Africa, there's lots of obstacles, and the language barrier being one of them, the cultural barrier and everything. So when we first come here, we trying to stay away from a couple of things. Just today, earlier, I had to go rent a car, so they gave me a car with no plate. Okay, as soon as I left the lot, I got pulled over. Right, so they didn't give me a ticket because the temporary tag is in the front in Nevada. They put it in the front wheelchair. So I had to take the car back to the rental car place and tell them that I need you to give me a car that has a plate because I'm a black man in America. You can't forget that. So it doesn't matter where I come from, but it takes a minute to understand that when you're from Africa, because when we come here, we too busy learning English. It takes us a good 4 or 5 years to learn English. It takes us a good 4 or 5 years to understand the culture, and there's a lots of gangs things like the people that look like us, like at 23, when I came to America at 23 and I'm dressing hip hop and everything, the people that were like me were all involved in violence and like the hood, the ghetto, the prison system. It's like so many things we have to learn that don't exist where we come from. So
yeah,
in learning all that, we be careful because in so many stories, some of us will get shot accidentally, not knowing. You go to the wrong neighborhood and you don't know that you're supposed to wear blue or red in that neighborhood. You end up getting killed. So we're just
yeah.
trying to be safe without being shot accidentally. So that's where it stems from, the fact that there is a little distance between Africans and African Americans. And also on the other side, there's a lot of misinformation about, well, this is how Africans are, da 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 da. So the African American community also stays to themselves. It's just naturally when you don't know something and it's something that's kind of not how you live in your life, you kind of naturally just stay away from it. So that created the distance. So with me, because I have a recording studio and I'm an artist, that allowed me and helped me be more connected with the African American community here, because I had to deal with a lot of people, a lot of young men from 14 all the way to 30, 40, doing music, different personalities, and I'm a sound engineer, so I had to sit there and record somebody music for 2, 3 hours. I get to know, I get to see them with their homies, I get to understand a little bit the culture. I had an artist signed to my record label who was affiliated with the blood culture. I got to learn a lot of that culture because of him. And I always say this: every African person that comes to America needs an African American friend, and vice versa, because that's the only way we're really gonna get to the truth. So,
That's
so
true.
that's that.
That's
Yeah.
very
Now,
true.
Yeah. Now let me get to the story.
Manifestation. Yes.
Manifestation. Yes, I was telling my daughter because my daughter is about to be 15 and my son is 11, and I try to teach them how to use their brains. I feel like that's something that falls on us, the parents, because school, the society, nothing will teach them that. So I try to teach them that no matter what you want, you can accomplish it with your mind. And the story came from when I was 14, 15. I developed the American dream. I wanted to come to America, but I was of a poor country in Africa. My parents couldn't afford to bring me here. So basically, at that time, I didn't look at it like, oh, this is impossible. All right, let me just have another dream then. No, it was more like, I saw Michael Jordan, I saw Michael Jackson, I saw all the black. And one thing I wanted to mention too, what attracts Africans to America is never the white culture or any other culture, but the African American culture. Our idols, and people we love are all the African Americans that you see on TV, from rappers to actors to anything you can mention. So it's really the African American culture that attracted us here in the first place. So basically, I already had my mind made up. Like I want to go to America because look at all these great black people. I feel like that's where you can become great as a black person, because we don't know all the BS that goes on here, all the other stuff you find out after when you come in already, when you come into the matrix. But from outside, it looks beautiful.
It
It looks
looks
like
like
this.
an American dream.
Yes, it looks like this is the place where black people can actually strive, because you see, when you look at the whole world and you look at globally, the America has the most successful black people. When you look at globally, you look at China, you look at Europe, you're not going to find LeBron James and Kevin Hart's and a lot of African Americans that are making their mark and that are internationally known. It's not a lot of them in other countries. Most of them are in America, like top 10, top 20, top 25 are in America. So naturally, America is attractive to the outsiders. That's one of the reasons. So basically, now I'm in high school. I started rapping at the time, so I wanted to be like Tupac. I'm playing basketball, so I wanted to be like Michael Jordan.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah, so I'm like, I want to go to America. Now I'm sitting there because when we started rapping, we tapped into a space in our brain that we didn't really realize we could at the time. We were 14, 15, and we started writing these things. Inspiration, inspiration is like almost divine. It comes from thin air. So at
it does.
14, 15, you are creating. It takes, it changes you. So at that time, we were aware that we could make things happen with our minds. But at the time, we didn't know how yet because we were too young. But I'm like, all right, there gotta be a way for me to go to America. Like, like I don't wanna just. I'm looking around. Yeah, only the rich kids get to go. Kids that are from my studies don't really get to go. But I said to myself, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make it happen. I didn't even tell my parents at the time, and I formulated a plan. Now, one of the secrets of manifestations is that you cannot just manifest only with your mind. You have to do the work also. Some people think that you're just gonna sit there and think about it and it's gonna come. No, it's a hand in hand. Like if you are able to imagine it, you should be able to do it. And if you're not able to do it, it's not gonna come true. That's the thing that all these video clips don't really tell us. They
Yeah.
only tell us that use your mind, but no, it's a combination of mind and body. Because that's what we are, a combination of mind and body. Like if you take the
Yes.
soul out of the body, we don't even know where the soul go, but our being as we know it cease to exist. So that's why in everything we do it's a combination. So you learn to harness the power of your mind by first telling yourself that it's possible. That's the first hurdle, because our biggest challenge is when we sometimes it starts from us, sometimes it starts from our close friends or close one. As soon as we come up with an idea or something, somebody or ourselves, we might tell ourselves, I don't know if that's possible. And then in our own mind, we lower our expectations or our dreams. If you had a crazy dream, and because we adults and we have realism in our mind, so you'll be like, like $100 billion. Like, can I make $100 billion in 10 years? Our adult mind and our realistic mind tells us Nah, that's probably not possible. So instead of aiming for 100 billion, we come down to 1 billion because we think, or 1 million, because we think that's what is attainable. We are already
Right.
limiting our, you know, the universe is vast. Science already proved that the universe constantly keeps expanding. And I forgot the rate, but it's a crazy number at the rate at which it expands. Your
Yes.
mind expands, our minds expands, and science also proves that like it don't expand physically, but it expands, it has an aura that expands. That's how we can explain 100 years ago we couldn't cure some diseases or do certain things, but now we can. Like 200
Yes.
years ago we couldn't fly, but now we can because our brains didn't change size or anything. But the reason we get smarter is because we expanding with the universe. As the universe expand, we expand. The connection between us and the earth is deep. Our heart rate beats at, I think it's 7.84 or something like that, right? The important part is that the frequency at which your heartbeat goes, that's the same frequency the earth has. The earth also has a frequency, and it
Mm.
matches exactly the frequency of your heart,
Of the heart.
frequency
Okay.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
heart.
yeah. That's just
So
like the water content of the ocean. That's in the womb of a woman when she's pregnant. Same salt content. Uh-huh.
So everything is connected. It's a web. We just have to learn to connect. It's like a puzzle, but the pieces are not together. So now, as
Yeah.
we navigating, sometimes we might come and then the problem with manifestation, we might know exactly what we're doing in manifesting something. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is that we don't know how to duplicate it properly. We don't know how to do it again and again and again and again.
Okay, so
We,
how did you do it? How did you do it? So you're in Africa, you're 20, you're aiming for the big stars. Did
hmm
you lay on the mountain? Because were you in Mauritania
hmm
at the time? Did you come from America, from Mauritania to America or Senegal?
From Mauritania, I stopped in Senegal because my grandma lives there. I had to say goodbye, but I had my paperwork in Mauritania and
Okay,
everything.
so
So my
Mauritania,
parents
for
went
those
all the
who
way.
don't know, is like there's huge sand dunes.
Mm-hmm.
Please, anybody that's watching this now or will watch this later, Google
Yes, Google
Mauritania
Mauritania. Yeah, and
and
let me
look
tell you how,
where
how
we
you
live.
spell Mauritiania.
Mauritiania.
Tania. Yeah, Mauritania, and Google it. It's a desert. It's big in size, but it's only 3.5 million people population wise. So I use that. I'm starting to use that to define me. I always, when people ask me where are you from, and I say I'm from Mauritania, and they say, well, I never heard of it. I say, yeah, that's because we're very rare. We are a rare species. It's only 3.5 million of us. It's not a lot of people that can say that it's a rare. I use that, to gloat a little bit, but not much. I try to keep
Yes,
it
yes. So that's why I was like, so were you on? Because in Mauritania, there's these huge sand dunes. I've
yeah.
never been. I had to Google it and research it because I wanted to see where is this man from? Where is he from? So I did
It's
some
desert.
research.
Yeah. So
It's the
basically, at
desert.
my age, right? At my age, it was like I was like 15, 16. I didn't come here until I was 23. So the plan started. Also, people have to have patience when manifesting because it takes time. So at 14, 15, I started developing this dream. Now, I hated school at the time. All right. There was nothing at all that gave me the desire to graduate high school or nothing. But when I started doing my research, I found out that for someone in my position, the easiest route or the most possible route for me would be to actually graduate high school and request an acceptation letter from one of these colleges in America. That was the
Okay.
route I took. But that's a route I took, but it's a route I had to prepare from like 14, 15. I was in middle school. About to go. I was in my first year of high school or whatever. So basically, uh, as soon as I made that assessment, I focused on school and I became like one of the best students because like it's like now I have a goal, like now I have an aim, like I'm going to school because I feel like school is going to get me out of here. So I became one of the best students. Like, yeah, I was a straight A student my last 2 years of high school. Before that, I was an average student. It was simply because I didn't put the effort in it. I didn't like school, and I just made sure I made sure I passed my classes with my average thing. I wasn't willing to put that much effort into school. Just let's just say that. So that
Mhm.
switched up everything because then I'm doing school. At the time, even my friends that I was telling my friends I'm going to America, because at that time I started telling my friends and people I'm growing, I'm going to go to America, and everybody was looking at me like, like, yeah, whatever, okay, whatever. And then they see like one of my friends see me like, oh, you're doing really good at school. What's up? You changed. What happened? We grew up together. So you know what? He said, you never really liked school. What's up? I said, because I'm going to go to America. Oh, okay. So sometimes you tell somebody your plan or your vision, they don't really see it. Some people would tell you, that ain't never going to happen, which I had happened. Like one of my families, one of my uncle called me. But let me get to that, because that happened right after I graduated.
Okay.
So I started telling my friends I'm going to go to America. I'm going to make it happen. So as I'm repeating it, it's growing. I don't know what is the power, but that's, there's a power that's growing. So I go through school. I graduated high school, right? Between graduating high school and coming here, it took 2 years. So that 2 years was also very challenging, because when you trying to manifest, it feels like some resistance will come along to make you give up or to make you, change course. So that happened. Like I graduated high school pretty much. Like I skipped a little episode where, because I missed a whole year of high school because of my back issue. I have chronic back issue that hit me when I was 17. So that's one of my pivoting points. Like I have 2 or 3 pivoting points in my life. That's one of them, because I was in bed for a whole year. That repaired my relationship with my father and allowed me to be more thoughtful. Because right after that, I was doing things on my own. I was doing the right thing without having my parents or somebody else having me tell me to do it. Like before that, I did the right thing, but only when my parents made me or whatever. But that was the first time I remember on my own accord doing the right thing, just because I wanted to do the right thing, right? So that changed my life. So basically, I graduated high school. Now I graduated high school. My parents don't know my plans that I wanted to go to America. So now they're making plans to send me to Senegal, to send me to Morocco, Tunisia, because for people of my status, that's what they could afford. But they don't know at that time I already had, like, during these 3-4 years, I'm already imagining my life in America.
Oh,
I'm
wait.
already
1 second. You said at your status, your parents could only afford to send you to Morocco or Indonesia. So
no, not Indonesia, Morocco, Senegal, or Tunisia. Tunisia is a neighboring country. It's also in the desert right there. All
so
those
meaning,
countries, yeah, you can only send your kid to one of these countries that is close by. It's like when you look at the United States, we're in Nevada, right? Some parents could send their kids all the way to New York for school because they can afford it. Some parents can only send you to Cali or to Utah because of
so
distance.
you don't see. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay.
So they
Okay.
was trying to send me to another country that's almost like Mauritania as far as, being better. Like they're all third world countries. So I wasn't trying to leave one third world country to go to another third world country. My parents, like my father would have to send me money every month to sustain me while I'm doing my studies. And at that time, I felt like I was an adult. And I'm like, I want to go somewhere where I can help you financially. I don't want to go somewhere where you have to send me money every month. That's how I was telling my father. But my father and my mother at first, they didn't understand because they didn't know the plan. So as soon as I graduated, they tried to send me to these countries. I'm like, no, I'm not going. And then my father, we had a whole discussion like, what you mean you're not going? Why? Why don't you want to, do your college studies that's going to allow you or help you get a better job. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not what I want to do. I want to go to America. I had this vision. I already been working on it for 3-4 years. And now I'm halfway there. And I can't go to another country that I don't know the dynamic of this country. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get out of there. But here, this is my country, and I know the ins and outs of this country. And if there's anywhere I can live from, it would be this country. My father, he didn't like that. It was a little friction. I had an uncle who was like the governor, like the assistant governor. So they sent me to his house. It was a setup because I didn't know that's what was going on. He just told me, "Oh, come over for dinner." Okay, cool. I came over for dinner. It was an ambush. So the whole time after we had dinner, he was trying to tell me how impossible or unreasonable what I'm telling my parents were. So they sent me somewhere to hear another voice of reason. And we had a conversation, and he was trying to convince me to go to one of these countries. When I left that conversation, I was even more convinced that I'm going to come here, because I'm like, some forces are, like there is some resistance here. That's good. I should push more. because those resistance, you have two choices. You either gotta push more or be like, you know what, everybody's saying I should do this, so let me just not
Or
listen.
fall back.
Well, yeah, the fall back. So now,
Fall back
fall
or you
back,
push.
yes,
Yeah.
falling back is not part of the of manifestation. This is why when you watch,
Say that again. Jim drop. Say it again.
falling back is not part of manifestation. It's not. There's no fallback plan. That's why when I used to watch videos and they used to say, when you about to do something, you gotta burn the bridge behind you. You gotta do it like there is no going back. And when you don't, when you're not there, it's hard to wrap your head around it. Because the smart thing is to have a plan B. That's how we all were raised. That's how we will grow up. It's like, and especially if you're about to do something very risky with your life, because it all takes, it's risk. It's like when we're talking about manifestation, you want to manifest. If you want to manifest a house with pool and everything, you have to risk stepping out. Like I had to risk leaving a whole continent, a whole country, my family, and coming to something like I had no idea what was going to happen. Some people leave and never come back, and some people leave and disappear. Some people leave and die. So it's like it's a big step. The comfortable thing for me to do would have been to stay where I was, next to mom and dad. They was going to take care of me. Dad was willing to send me money and everything. You know what I mean? That would have been the comfortable thing. But
that's the safe way. That's safe. That's safe.
Yeah, the safe route. Now, when you go the other route, there is no, okay, well, I'm gonna go this route, but this is my fallback plan. There is no fallback plan. Once you have a fallback plan, then it's not gonna work. You have to have a plan and say this is gonna work. There is no plan B, plan C, or what you're gonna do if it don't work. You'll figure it out when you get there. That's what I tell myself. I have this. I'll cross that bridge when I get there, because of planning. Because we humans and we like to plan for the future. We like to put savings. We like to because of that it limits us in our ability of manifesting. I was telling my daughter I can manifest anything I want. I'm not rich, like billionaire, millionaire rich, but I live a rich life because I have what I not everything I want, but what I need and more to keep me happy. So if I just look at what I have, that's enough for me to keep a smile on my face. But if I look at what I have and start thinking about what I don't have, what I would like to have, what I want to have, now I'm not even enjoying what I have. Now I'm busy. I'm busy trying to get what I don't have, trying to get in one while. It's good to be ambitious, because it's a thin line. It's good to be ambitious and wanting, but at the same time, don't forget to enjoy what you have. And that's one of the manifestations. If you're not able to enjoy what you have, you're not going to be able to manifest the next thing. Sometimes people think it's not connected, but it's connected. Your life, your children, your food, even yourself, like even this right here, like people who know me know I call this the soul box, right? I gave it the soul box name because I've been wearing this for maybe 4 or 5 years now, maybe longer, right? The color used to be different, but I feel like my soul and it's in there because intentionally in my mind, I told myself this is where I'm gonna put my soul. Because of that, my soul thanked me by being, oh, you're treating me so specially. It's not a conversation, it's a feeling, My soul is grateful for me actually acknowledging that it exists. So no matter who you are, just acknowledge your soul.
Your soul is grateful for acknowledging that it exists.
Yes. And now I gave it a whole little place. I take care of it. I acknowledge it all the time. I introduce it to people. People ask me all the time, what is this? Oh, my soul box. I just introduced you to my soul, So, and some people think, because this is a pouch, a container, but when you look inside, it's completely empty. Or is it? My soul is in there. There is no physical thing in there. It might look empty, but it's not. And that's how I always kept it. I don't usually put anything in there. It's a space for my soul, and I have to respect that. So in all those connections allow you to be able to manifest. Manifesting takes 1, 2, 3 different things. You have to shape, it's almost like going through kung fu. How you have you have belts, like you have the white belt, the yellow belt, and then the orange belt, the blue belt, the red belt, all the way till you get to the black belt. So that's how manifestation works. People think that they're just going to wake up and become black belts at manifesting. No, you have to train your brain and also be careful. Don't just manifest recklessly. Manifest what will benefit you. Because in the grand scheme of the universe, we don't know what would benefit me. I might want $1 million, but $1 million might kill me, or like might damage my soul. So $1 million is a million reasons. I have a million ways to do bullshit, because it's easy. It's easier to mess up than to build. So $1 million might not be good for me.
Okay.
Maybe
All right. So take this back. Take this back. Hold on. So you have wait. Where I want to go back just a moment. When did you decide you wanted to go to America? Like you were 14, but what happened? When did you say I'm going to America? What happened?
Because my whole life, right, since I was 10, 11, 12, I was always attracted to music. I always listened to Bob Marley a lot.
You were right. Okay. So it was African American artists that wanted you. Yes. That's right. That was a dream.
And then the same year, I discovered Michael Jordan. When I discovered Michael Jordan, at that time, we didn't even play basketball. We played soccer. But we watched Michael Jordan fly through the air. It was about 6, 7 of us. And I swear to you, we all just said, we want to do that. Like, there was no but ifs or nothing about it. We want to do that. And we literally left my house and we went to the basketball court, which we used to pass by every day to go play soccer. We used to look at them like, okay, it's a foreign sport to us. Michael Jordan literally, when that's why sometimes with the new generation, when they talk about LeBron is better, I'm like, what Michael did for the game, nobody can duplicate. He literally put this on.
You there?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
I'm sorry. I think somebody was calling me. But yes, Michael Jordan, what he did for the game and for my generation, he literally made us like look at the screen for like an hour. It was the Michael Jordan Playground. That was his first DVD. It was like a 45 minutes to an hour DVD. And it was so mesmerizing to us. So mesmerizing. It was translated in French version so we could understand. It was so mesmerizing. So we left that house and we went to the basketball court. And ever since then, we were there every day. We learned how to play basketball. Before my music dream, I wanted to become a basketball player. That was my first big dream.
So Michael Jordan changed the whole trajectory, changed your whole mind.
The whole thing. The whole thing.
So take us there. So your parents want you to go to a neighboring country. You're like, no, I'm going to America. So you found out that through school, you could get to America possibly. That was an end for you.
That was my plan, and then I worked towards it, and I believed it. Believing it was the most important part, because you gotta believe it. Yes, believe in it, and understanding that this is gonna happen. Something inside of me was like, it's gonna happen. Like it might. And I wasn't stressed about when it was gonna happen, because I waited a while, and while I'm waiting, patience is important. Good things happen to those who are patient and persevere. Those are two things that go hand in hand: patience and persevere. Persevere meaning you gotta do the work. The patience is the mind thing.
Yeah. So I'm putting these gym drops in the stream. So I just want you to know, you dropping gym after gym after gym. I'm putting them in the stream. So you can go back, whoever can go back and look at these gym drops that you're dropping. And you just dropped another one. And you said when you manifest, you have to believe that your manifestation can happen. Exactly. You got to believe in what you want to bring forth.
Yes, it's not about what you say.
How did it happen for you? So did school get it? Is that how did it happen? Bring us in.
So basically, I graduated high school. I fought that battle of not going anywhere. My dad was a little mad at me, but he said to me, okay, well, I am not taking care of you anymore. I said, okay, cool. So I went to the next town and I got a job and I was taking care of myself. And the job that I got is actually what helped me come here. That was also part of the plan. So I didn't know that. It's not like when you're manifesting, you're not planning. Manifesting and planning is two different things. Sometimes people are, well, how are you going to do that? That's planning. Like, I'm going to go through A, B, C, and D and get it. That's a plan. Like, I didn't know that I would graduate. I would go through that. My dad would say, well, you're going to have to get a job to take care of yourself. I'm like, all right, cool. So the job I found was a job in the Cyber Cafe. This was back in the 90s. 99, 2000, and people didn't really have computers in their, in their homes here. So I was working at the cyber cafe, which gave me access to American schools, the internet. So the internet helped me out. Are you there?
I'm back. Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, I got beamed up and they beamed me back down. I'm back.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, I was saying the first job helped me because it was a cyber cafe where I was helping people use the internet. But this was the early ages of the internet when people didn't have computers in their homes yet. Okay. And that job,
you worked at a telecenter.
Yes. So telecenter, it was called Cyberphone. That was the name of my first job, Cyberphone.
Right.
So
I only know telecenter because I've been to Africa before the internet was popular. And
exactly.
Then telecenter, so you have to go in and use the computers.
So now that gave me access to America. I didn't really know that's what it would do, because my reason for getting that job was because at the time the internet came on, I used to love the internet, but it used to cost too much money. I used to have to go to the telecenter and pay. And then one day I found out that this new telecenter is opening up, and they need people who are familiar with computer. And I was one of those who would pay my money and go to the computer and learn. So I was already a little bit good, even though I never went to a computer school. So I was good enough to be able to help others. So they hired me. When they hired me, I was like, okay, cool. So I work there every day. I'm helping people. I'm in the computer. And it took me 2 years between the time I graduated to the time I got my visa. So those 2 years is when I worked there. I learned a little bit of English. I was going to the American Embassy, and I was learning in English. They do a test called the TOEFL. We call it the TOEFL. So basically, because all this was me placing my racks, moving my pounds, because I knew that once I get my acceptation letter and I go to the embassy, because also the embassy was another challenge. It's hard to get the visa. I was already thinking about that and game planning about it. All right, if you go to the embassy and you pay and you taking those classes, even though those classes don't really help you when you come, it's a good thing to add to your folder when you go to the embassy. That could be a good plus for you to get the visa. So I was already placing things like because I wasn't ready to hear no. When I went to the embassy, I didn't want to hear no. I want to hear yes, because I'm ready to go. Because I knew for me it was gonna be a one shot. If I would have got a no, it would have took another 2 years before I probably would have got another shot. So I had to make sure that one shot was like the shot, So basically, I'm working at the cyber.
So how did you make sure that one shot was the shot?
I didn't. You don't. You just
knew you wanted to go.
That's why it's called faith. There is no making sure it's the right.
Did you say prayer? Did you pray?
Yes, I always pray because I'm a spiritual person.
I know you always pray.
So I pray, and my prayer for real, my prayer in general is, hey God, this is what I want. Please allow me to have this if it's good for me. I always add that condition, So when I don't get something, my mind goes back to, okay, this must not have been good for me. That's how I cope with not having what I asked for from God, because God don't make mistakes. So if he decides to give me some good, if he decides not to give it to me, then that means it must have not been good for me. So I just have to accept it and move on. So once I learned how to do that, it was easy. So I'll pray for protection and for guidance. But when it comes to doing, you just gotta do, because we're not divine. So it's going to be hard for us to know, or it's the notion of like, what do you do to make sure that this goes through? It's like, I just believe. The main ingredient is really just believe. Believe. Some people will tell you they believe, but they don't. It's not going to work. So, you can fool the energy. You can fool the people around. You can fool the energy. Nah. You can fool the energy. So you can tell your people, the people that are around, that, yeah, you've been working on this and that, so that the people can be like, yeah, you're a driven person. But inside, you don't even believe it. Inside, you like, you know what I mean? I'm just going through the motion, but I don't really believe it. It's not going to work. So you know what I mean? It's like it takes some conditions. And all those conditions, only you, the person, will know if it's met. So that's why when you can manifest and you at that level, you know you can manifest. But that's what makes it so difficult to teach or to tell, to show somebody else how to manifest, because they
Yes.
have to go through these steps and get there. And then once they get there, they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I know what all these people be
Okay,
talking
so wait,
about. I know. Yeah, but I can't break it down to you.
We got about almost 10 minutes. Bring us in. Did you get, you got, apparently you got the visa because you're here.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, at that job, one day I was even off duty. I just came and the computer was on, and the University of Alabama was up. For 2 years, I'm trying to get a school to accept me. I couldn't find one because most of them want financial proof, which I didn't have. So University of Alabama popped up. I'm looking at their condition. They're not asking for anything but a $25 fee and fill out this application. I did it. When I did it, right, I didn't it wasn't done like all my other application. When I do application, I have high hopes. I'm like, yeah, I think this one's gonna work and this and that. Like sometimes we put too much out of our own energy into the energy, and we don't really know what the energy is gonna do. So we like it wasn't like, because I applied to many schools, I got rejected many times, but so many times I had high hopes. But this one, because it was so simple and so easy, and I didn't think, it's not that I didn't think it would work, but I just did it and left it alone. I didn't think it would not work. I didn't think it would work. I just did it and moved on. And 2 weeks, I didn't even realize 2 weeks later when I received the phone call saying that paperwork is here for you from America, like I was like, oh, it came. You know what I mean? Because I was expecting them to call me. I was expecting it to be a little bit harder. You know what I mean? That's when I realized expectation ain't good either. Because it gets you prepared, it gets you braced for something that's never coming, So my expectation was that they're gonna call me, they're gonna ask me for my high school transcript, they're gonna ask me for bank accounts, because that's what all these other schools did. So I was like, at that point I was like, okay, whatever. And they didn't. They just sent me the paper. I looked at it and I saw the I-20. It's called the I-20. I couldn't believe it. It was blue, and I never seen a blue one. I thought it was a sample.
So wait, so they sent you the paperwork? They sent you the I-20?
Yeah, the school sent me the paperwork after I did the application and everything. And like I said, I wasn't even supposed to be at work that day. I just popped up. But I looked at the computer. I didn't even do a search to bring up the University of Alabama. It was just there in the computer. I just came. I said, University of Alabama. Okay, because I'm always looking for a school. So I come and sit down. I'm like, okay, let me look. Because America have 2,000 schools, like college, community school. Like when it comes to universities, it's so many. And then most of the university that you hit when you do your research are the expensive ones and the major ones. The minor ones, you don't really, you got to, and back then the Google, right?
Yeah.
So you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Couldn't really find what I was looking for. So when that came up, I did it. And then they sent me the paperwork. I called them to confirm it's actually the I-20, because I couldn't believe it was. Because that was I'm like, oh, this is another pivot. I'm like, all right, high school, graduation, staying, getting a job. And then now the paperwork came, boom, I'm getting closer. So now my next step would be the embassy. So now I had to talk to my dad. Okay, Dad, now this part, we have to have the financial proof. So I told my dad I did my part. This is what I've been working for all these years. Now you have to do the rest. I need this financial proof, and now that's the only thing that's missing. So my dad didn't say nothing to me in a week, whatever. And then all of a sudden he calls me. He tells me, son, I need to go to the airport. I need to pick up the paperwork. I sent you the money you need for your application fee, but I need you to go apply for this visa the next day, because on Thursday I have to give all these people their money that I borrowed to put in my account. So that's how it went down. I'm like, bet.
Oh my God.
Stay no more. So I went to the airport, picked up the stuff, came home. I didn't even tell none of my homies. Got all my paperwork ready, everything there. My friends, we were there until 1 a.m. in the morning chilling, because my room is always chill. So we always, a bunch of my friends spent the night there on the floor, some on the mat. I woke up at 6 in the morning, took a shower, prayed, got my clothes. And my mom was in town, so my mom came with me. We went there early, 9 o'clock. There was a long waiting line. We didn't see the guy until around 1 o'clock. He only asked me 2 questions. After all these years of manifestation, right? My final stage, when I got there to get my visa, he only asked me 2 questions. He asked me first because he saw. Remember, I told you that I did my little English thingy. I was doing my little
Online
English.
while you were at the
So,
Holy Center.
so that was in the folder. So he looks at that. He said, okay. He talks to me in French. So he said, do you want to do your interview in French or in English? I said to him in English because, like, like I'm not,
Okay.
I'm trying to.
He was talking to you in French. Are you there?
Yeah, because it's hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. So you said he was talking to you in French.
Yeah, because in Africa nobody
tell us in
English.
French. How did he say it to you? Tell us in French.
So he says, oh, okay. Tu veux faire ton interview en français ou en anglais? So I said en anglais. And at the time, that's a bold because we don't really speak English. So he said, okay, why do you want to go to America? So I don't know. I don't remember exactly how I formulated it at the time because my English wasn't good. It's like English that you read and it's like when you were high school French, So I told him, well, because I want to go further my education, but not like that. I told him because I want to go to America because I want to finish my school. That's the basic English, So basically,
you said that in English.
Yeah, I said that in English because he asked me the question in English because the first one was in French. Now he asked me the question in English. So he looks at the paperwork. He looks at, he's looking at my age. Now I know what he's looking for. They're looking at your age. They're looking if you got all your teeth. They're making sure, okay, he could be a good worker.
Oh, if you have all your teeth, then look and see if you have your teeth.
No, that's a metaphorically, not like that. But they look at your paper. The reason why I say that is because now that I've been here 20 years, I realized that I volunteered myself to enslave to be a slave in this system for 20 years. We can talk about that another day, but as an African man who's been here 20 years, I feel like I voluntarily gave myself up to be a slave in this system, and I've been a slave in this system for 20 years. I only realized this like 5 years ago. So that's how deep the system is. So we can. That's another. Yeah, we'll talk about that another time. I'm gonna be a regular on your show. You should just say we're gonna have King Mullah once a month. And then once a month we'll have a discussion. Like we should just make it official right now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Let's make it official right now. Yeah.
Once a month because it's so much I want to share with the people. So much I want to tell, but because I'm looking at the time, it's like 54 minutes now. You know what I mean? It's like we know people. It's like it's good people.
Of my questions.
Yeah.
Any of my questions. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So basically, let me
wait. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Let me conclude it. So basically, I got my visa that day. So when I got my visa that day, that manifestation process completed. So basically, that manifestation process started from when I was like 14, 15, all the way to the time when I was 23. That's almost 9 years. So that's why when I say patience, like we think that it's gonna happen like that. Nah, it might take you 10 years, it might take you 20 years, but you can't give up. You gotta keep manifesting. If you've been manifesting something for the past 5 years and it didn't come yet, don't give up now. Because you may be halfway through, you may be 70% there. You don't even know what's the next pivot that's going to happen. All these pivots that I mentioned in my story, I did not foresee them. I did not plan them, but I acted when they happen. Like you have to react. You're supposed to act. So that's why patience and perseverance. And then it was like everybody congratulated me, like my family, my dad. Like I earned my dad's respect at that moment. Like right before I left Africa, I remember the last conversation me and him had, and he was telling me like, you know what, son, because I'm the oldest, and he put so much effort into raising me because in his mind, I'm the example. There's 6 of us. If he got me right, then everybody else would follow in my footsteps. Which he was right, because all 6 of us are good, because he just focused on me. I took all the beatings, all my sisters and brothers, y'all owe me money. I took all the beatings, all the punishment, everything,
Are you the oldest?
Yes, I'm the oldest of 6. And
are you have other brothers? Are you the only boy?
No, it's 2 boys, 2 girls, and then 2 boys.
Oh, okay. So it's 2, 2, 2, 2. So it's 6 of y'all. It's 3 boys, 3 girls.
2 boys. 4 boys, 2 girls. So it's 2 boys and then 2 girls and then 2 boys.
Got it. Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay,
So my
wait,
two
wait, wait.
sisters are in Africa. So and then it's four of us here. The other two are still back in Africa. So we still one foot here, one foot there. My mother just moved to America about a year ago. So all this time she never lived here. She would come and visit. But like right now I feel like because all her grandchildren are here now and she's getting older. So but my mother never wanted to move here. But now it's like more than half of the families in America. So, that's that's how I see the shift. But my sister's been talking about moving back to Africa for good, just like I've been talking about. Because my sister's been here, they've been here. Like my sister came in 2008, one of them, and my other sister came in 2014. I came in 2001. So because of me and my brother, we've been here before. So they catching on to what we here for, how we got here and everything faster than I have because I'm here letting them know. So now my sisters, they're not trying to stay here. They're not going to be here 20 years like me. Like it took me a while to figure it out, but I'm trying to leave now. You know what I mean? My sister, she's talking about 2021. By then, 2021, I'm taking my family. I'm setting things up. She just graduated. Congratulations, sis. She just graduated. Now she's a broker. She's a stockbroker. Like a real stockbroker. She works for like one of these big companies. It took her through like 6 months of testing and training. So congrats, sis. And we're just here trying to get what we get, trying to share the knowledge and really trying to help everybody understand that this is not where we belong. We might have been born here, we might be here now or whatever, but really we need to figure out how to go back to the motherland.
Go back to the motherland. Not the land, the other land.
The other land. We have the richest land ever.
Mullah, what has your parents told you that has carried you? So this 20 years, you made the statement that you didn't realize that you voluntarily gave yourself up to be a slave to the American system. And you only discovered it 5 years ago. Was there anything that your parents told you that got you through those 20 years till today that you still live by?
Yes, like my father always told me one thing. Because when I was younger, when I was like 14, 15, I was a hothead. My father used to make me do everything in the house. Like I said, he just put his focus on me and I used to hate it. I was like, damn, he got a target on my back. Like he would call my name 10 times a day. He used to call me Papa. Papa means father because he named me after his father. So he would call me Papa and I'll come, do this. Make me this, that. Like he put me. I used to hate him. Like, yo, it's 6 of us. Like, why all this pressure on me? But he told me, and he used to ask me to do something, and if I didn't want to do it, I won't do it right, simply because I don't want to do it. And one thing he told me is that, like, look, no matter what you have to do in life, if you have to do it right. If it's something that you have to do either way, just do it right, because you have to do it anyways. Like doing it right and your fact that you don't want to do it have nothing to do with each other.
Wow. Mullah, we've come to our hour. Oh my God.
Those two. Yeah.
Oh, you're going in and out. You're going in and out.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question. Mm-hmm. When you think of your life for the next, you mentioned earlier, you said you have 6 lives. You're on your 3rd one.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of this life that you have, when you think of it, do you think of it individually first, collectively second? Do you think of yourself first and then collectively second?
Yes. When I think about my life, I think about me, my legacy, my imprint, my impact. So all that is on me. I have to, I put a lot on me. Like, what do I have to do? What can I do for the collective? Because yes, we are collective, but the collective is there anyways. You know what I mean? Communities, we are community regardless, and we are collective because we have the same skin. So other people are gonna put us in the same group, regardless. So the collective, we work together and work towards it, but individually, I feel like once you figure out individually what you are or what you are to do or what your contribution is supposed to be, then it helps the collective. And your life makes more sense. It's just like you have to like figure yourself out. It's hard. like to be balanced, to figure yourself.
Yeah. You're cutting out, Mula. You're cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I have a couple of questions that I'm gonna throw out some names. We're gonna wrap things up because we're at an hour.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bring you back. You'll be back next month.
Yay. And we'll talk about 6 lives or whatever else. There's so many things. 6 lives or 4 wives. That should be the title for next one. 6 lives or 4 wives.
Yeah, right. You see, I'm not. I don't. You see, I'm not smiling, right?
Yeah.
The question for you. I actually want to talk about how you said that you gave yourself voluntarily to a system, to be a slave for a system. That's what we're going to talk about. That's what I would like for us to talk about.
All right.
I'm going to throw out some names for you. I'm going to throw out some names for you and give me the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
Malcolm X.
Revolution.
Prince.
Artistic.
Cicely Tyson.
I don't know who that is.
Bill Cosby.
Incredibly misunderstood. Marcus Garvey, the last visionary.
Dr. Sebi.
Healer.
Nipsey Hussle.
King.
Harriet Tubman.
The Voice.
Where can people find you, Mula, if they want to get you?
You can find me on IG, Facebook, Twitter, King Mula, Moulah. That's actually how you spell half of my real name. So King Mula everywhere. I have my website, kingmula.com. If you want to read my bio, listen to my music, listen to other podcasts, and subscribe to my channel because I have all these different podcasts that I'm doing, and I have a playlist of my podcasts that you can find also on my YouTube channel, King Mula. And it was a pleasure talking and sharing my with you guys.
Yes, thank you so much, King Mula, for joining the show and sharing pieces of your soul. Because every time we share pieces, this is of your soul, like in that box, your soul box.
It's a soul box.
Hang out backstage, and before you go, I want to tell you goodbye. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you again. We don't only speak about the problem, but we render a solution. That was rich conversation. I loved it. I don't know if you guys seen my face, but I loved hearing the story of overcoming, of pivoting, of changing, of having a dream, of manifestation. This is what Power in My Pivot is all about. Regular, ordinary people like me and you becoming extraordinary. Can you imagine how extraordinary he is to his family and his friends and his community? Just because he made up his mind that he was going to do a thing, he did it. Shouts out to King Mula. The help tip for this week is the pure aloe vera plant. Yes, the pure aloe vera plant. Aloe vera is a face cleanser. You can use it for makeup remover, acne, blackouts. You can use it. You can put it, scrape the insides, get a jar, put it in a jar, put some in your smoothie, ingest it. It's good for constipation. It's good for joints. And it accelerates the healing process if you put aloe vera on cuts and bruises and scrape the wound. Okay, so aloe vera is a health tip. What inspired me to do this edition of Power in My Pivot was my surrender to knowing that God makes no mistakes. And he said that in his interview. And I put it also in the comment feed. God makes no mistakes. I surrendered to that knowingness, that God makes no mistakes. And it inspired me for this edition of Power in My Pivot. That's how we got here today, honey. God makes no mistakes. There was no expectations of this show. I showed up. I showed up. And I just want to say, just, the church people would say, when you think just before the breakthrough, you want to give up. Just before the breakthrough, you want to give up. I'm here to tell you, baby, from experience, when you want to give up, push just a little bit more, because that's when the breakthrough might just happen. Power in My Pivot is a live broadcast that happens every single Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Kings and queens, let's pivot from basic to bona fide. And always remember that nobody is better than you, and you are no better than nobody else. Said to me by a wise man, my grandfather, because there is power in your pivot. Until next time.